The iPhone 11 Pro is the more updated and more premium iPhone of 2019, whereas the iPhone 11 more closely resembles last year's iPhone XR. The iPhone 11 Pro most resembles the iPhone XS. It starts at $999 and can be purchased in 4 color options: space gray, silver, midnight green, and gold. While the midnight green is the newest color, I decided to go with the space gray as I find it looks absolutely beautiful. Apple seems to tweak the look of space gray every single year, and I think you could make the argument that this year's space gray is kind of a new color, similar to midnight green. I think it looks really clean. Now, unlike the iPhone 11, which we recently unboxed here on Phone Dog, the box of the iPhone 11 Pro is black, matching the dark appearance of the space gray iPhone. Apple makes it really easy to get inside the box thanks to the convenient plastic pull tab that unravels the plastic and lets you slide off the top of the box. Inside, we have the iPhone 11 Pro in all of its space gray glory. I will say, it's one thing to look at the large camera sensors online and in the official renders, but in person, the camera sensors are absolutely massive. Underneath, we have a packet containing some Apple paperwork and stickers. There's the new 18-watt fast-charging USB-C power adapter, which is included in the box. Finally. Next, we have a pair of Lightning earpods, which is nice to have, not gonna lie. I wish they were AirPods, but they're not. There is most definitely wires here. And last but not least is the USB-C to Lightning cable that works in conjunction with the 18-watt wall adapter to charge your iPhone up from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes. The iPhone 11, it does not include this cable or adapter in the box, so it's really nice to see here in the more expensive model. If we take off the protective plastic, we'll see the iPhone 11 Pro in the space gray color configuration that I talked so highly of earlier. Personally, I really like the looks of this color and the matted back glass panel that clashes with the reflective, shiny stainless steel chassis. I will say though, upon first impressions, it does feel slightly thicker and slightly heavier than the previous model, because it is. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it is noticeable. It does feel a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker. Overall, I just love the form factor. It's the smaller of the 3 iPhones announced this year, so it's gonna be the best option if you're all about one-handed usability. Now, of course, one of the biggest new additions is the improved large camera sensors, most notably the ultra-wide camera sensor. Say what you will about the looks of these camera modules, but I will say up close, it's really impressive what they've done here with the subtle curves around the module. The whole back of the phone and the bump is a single piece of glass that's been milled out. So that's really cool. I'm a big hardware guy. I think that's quite impressive what they've done here. But aside from the build, the main differences between the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro are the cameras and the display. The display measures in at 5.8 inches, so it's a bit smaller, but also features smaller bezels, so it's going to offer superior one-handed usability. It's also an OLED Retina XDR panel with a higher resolution and higher 458 pixel per inch index, delivering more detailed content, brighter, more vivid colors, and better viewing angles. Apple says it can reach peak brightness of 1200 nits in certain scenarios, which is really impressive. So if you're a pixel junkie or you just really value a beautiful display, you may want to spring for the iPhone 11 Pro and pay the extra $300. The other main differentiating feature is the additional telephoto sensor. That's really it. The main 12 megapixel f1.8 camera sensor and 12 megapixel ultra-wide f2.4 sensor are the same as the iPhone 11. It's just the 12 megapixel f2.0 telephoto sensor on the iPhone 11 Pro that is really new. But the cameras are excellent upon first impressions. Apple has done a lot behind the scenes to improve contrast, improve color and detail of the photos that you capture. Many people who have spent more time with these phones than I have are calling this the best mobile camera on the market. So it looks very promising. I can't wait to spend more time with this phone. What I will say about the ultra-wide sensor is that it's a ton of fun to use, as it can let you capture wide, beautiful landscape images that the main sensor or the telephoto sensors simply cannot do. And for what it's worth, the 12 megapixel front-facing camera sensor is now wider, so when you tilt it to landscape mode, it'll automatically zoom out a little bit, allowing you to capture wider angled selfies. It also features support for 1080p 240 frame per second video to enable so-called slofies, or ultra slow motion selfies, which might be kind of fun, but I don't really see them catching on like Apple plans they will. You can also capture 4K 60 FPS via the main rear-facing camera sensor, and quality appears to be very, very good. Along with the hardware, there have been some camera app improvements or changes. You can now long press the shutter button to take a video. There's a new night mode that will automatically pop up when lighting conditions are subpar. And you also get a view of what the ultra-wide camera sensor sees without actually switching to that sensor. But that's really about it for new, unique features. The iPhone 11 Pro does feature the A13 Bionic chip, which is supposedly the fastest mobile processor on the market, and I gotta say, it does a great job opening and closing apps. It gives me no doubts that this is a fast processor. I don't know exactly if it's the fastest, maybe the fastest in terms of numbers, but there's absolutely no hesitation when navigating this phone. It's buttery, buttery smooth. It ships with iOS 13, the latest version of iOS, bringing a number of new features, most notably a system-wide dark mode that works with all native Apple apps. It looks great in my opinion, and it should help save some battery life thanks to the OLED display, but the software is very buggy, so if you're using an older iPhone, you may just want to hold off until iOS 13.1, which is supposedly coming sooner than later on September 24th, so that's not very far away, guys. It is a bummer to see 3D touch removed in favor of haptic touch, so you can still long press on certain icons to trigger 3D touch menus and actions, but it's not quite the same experience. It makes me miss 3D touch already, and I've only just begun to set up the phone. So, upon first impressions, the iPhone 11 Pro seems like a very well-built device with a lot of nice features, but it still leaves me feeling a little bit underwhelmed, especially with the new Pro name. It only features 64 gigabytes of internal storage in the base model, no USB-C charging port, no reverse wireless charging, no slimmer notch, no in-display fingerprint scanner, or even 5G support. I think it's going to be a tough sell for those who have an iPhone from the past couple of years and are thinking of upgrading, since Apple is almost certain to update the next iPhone with most or all of the features I just mentioned. With that said, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the iPhone 11 Pro in the comments down below. What do you like or dislike? Let me know what you're thinking down below. As always, I'm BoHD from PhoneDog.com. Stay tuned for our full review. Hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.